Alright, well, I just discovered the most epic fucking drum rack thing ever. Saw a tutorial on Dubspot.com, actually on YouTube through Dubspot, and the guy shows you how to create what he calls the last drum kit you'll ever need to make in Ableton Live. Well, I agree with him, and you'll see why. If you haven't checked it out, check the link in the description for the how to make this epic rack. I'm going to show you what mine looks like, and I'll actually show you a little bit of how you do it. I'm not really going to go into too much depth. I just kind of want to show you how powerful this tool really is. So, if you take a look down here, here's my drum rack. I have a simple drum rack up, and when I go down bottom, you'll see I have a couple macros assigned. I have an analog kick, a big kick, a hall kick, which is like a reverb kick, a layered snare, a classic snare, an amped hat, an analog hat, and an open hat. Now, I could fill up as many of these as I want. For this actual, the ingeniousness behind this, you can only do it for 8 of your patches. So I chose these 8 things, and then I could just place whatever other samples I want in these top 8, and I can play it on a machine or anything I want. So basically, what this allows you to do is, say you want to change your analog kick. You have your pattern laid out. You go to kick selector, which is basically what I did was inside the drum rack. I created. What you do is you go into the drum rack and you drag a sampler in there. You need the suite for this. You drag a sampler into one of the empty cells. And then once you get in there, you open the zone pattern, which is right there. And up here, you'll see, normally you'd see an empty spot. What I did is I took all of my kicks that I normally use, and I dropped them right in there. Then you go over to the selector, and these will all be filled up. You right click and hit distribute ranges equally. After you do that, you can right click the selector and assign it to a macro, an empty macro. See, mine are already done pretty much. Mine are what the hell? Oh, well, okay. Well, normally it would say macro 1, macro 2, whatever. So once you do that, if you do this with 8 different elements, you'll have 8 different selectors up. Basically, I can play my kick, and I can just drag this up, or use my MIDI tool to just turn that knob and figure out the kick I like. And I could do that for all of these, all 8 elements. It's pretty fucking wild. The cool part is, then once you do that, you can even have more control, and this is why it's powerful. Once you get that set up, you click on one of your cells that you've set up with the sampler inside with all your samples spread across the selector, and you right click on the sampler up here by itself, and you click group, just normal group, not group to drum rack, not group anything else, just group. Now when you group that, it puts it inside an instrument rack, and what that allows you to do is have even more macros. So there's my old macros for the drum rack, and inside each cell, inside each one of these 8 cells, is an instrument rack holding the sampler. So basically a rack inside a rack, and I think that's hilarious because it brings racks on racks to life. Now inside, what I do is I map, like the guy said in the video at Dubspot, I give him all the credit. I put my pitch, my decay, and my velocity sensitivity. I can mess with these as well. If you have a very vast piece of hardware, you could have a lot of fun with this. What I did is I went into the pitch oscillator tab and took my transpose pitch and mapped that to pitch, to one of the macros, which is empty. The only downside is when you do start this, you're going to have one of these taken up, and you can't change it to a different map, or else it kind of messes it up. The kick selectors automatically becomes one of the macros inside this. So I did the transpose. I went into map mode, and where is it? Right there. And I changed the transpose limit, which says pitch now because I renamed it, to -12 and +12, because you don't really need a bigger range than that when it comes to drums. So I do that, and then I go to filter global, and I messed around a little. Let me turn map mode off. Then I went into here and dragged the sustain all the way down and mapped the decay to number 3. Then I took the whoa, it's getting bright. Where is it? Okay. The velocity sensitivity and dragged that and made it its own. Now, the possibilities around this, you could do whatever you want with this, but putting an instrument rack inside a drum rack and a sampler inside the instrument rack of each cell is probably the best way to make the only drum kit you're ever going to ever need. Check out the guy's tutorial in the video, and I don't have audio set up right now, so I wish I could show you how epic this is, but if you're a musician, I guarantee you can appreciate this, and I hope you enjoyed this video, even though it was just me blabbing on about some bullshit in Ableton Live. Hope you appreciate it, though. Take care.